Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Midtown Atlanta on this Memorial Day weekend. I hope you're having a good time. Such is the nature of life that all it asks and all it wants is the opportunity to appear, and you are that opportunity, and so am I. So it is. Whoever you are, whatever path brought you here today, please know that you are welcomed and celebrated. We know who you are. You are an individualized expression of the divine life in which we all live. We are life's opportunity to be someone unique and wonderful. Whatever your ethnic background, whatever your religious affiliation, however you know yourself or describe yourself, you are welcome to become a part of this community in whatever way serves you. And here's our vision statement. We are a strong, open, globally connected community centered on the clarity of principle through teaching, service, and practice. We create a safe and respectful environment that supports healthy spiritual growth. And for a better understanding of who we are and what we teach, listen to our Declaration of Principles as written by our founder, Ernest Holmes.
A few of the Declaration of Principles we live by.
I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding.
I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
So grateful, hey.
So, a practitioner is someone who's demonstrated spiritual practice and spiritual laws and knows how to bring about changes in their lives. They've also demonstrated that knowing how to bring about these changes in others when asked. Licensed by Centers for Spiritual Living, they're available to you to provide spiritual guidance and support in those areas where you're looking for assistance. You can reach our practitioners on our website, cslmidtown.org. And today we've got an amazing practitioner, one of our practitioners. So Practitioner Emeritus, Norma Roberts. Welcome, Norma.
Morning. Thank you so very much, Vance. You're such an amazing person. I really appreciate you and your introduction. And I want to say good morning to everyone else. Good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful memorial celebration. Okay. You know, we have such a wonderful Science of Mind magazine, and each month it has such inspiring messages. And I've chosen one to share with you today. And the title is Enter Vulnerability. It starts by asking, have you ever seen those social media ads that boast 10 easy ways to enhance your relationships? Go ahead and admit it. You've clicked on one of these, haven't you? I'm going to let you in on a secret. So have I. I have also. And it was the word easy that sucked me in. In reality, in my experience, nothing is further from the truth. By their very nature, relationships are challenging. We bump up against the rough edges of one another, and our reaction to that vary greatly. But what if those jagged edges are the key? What if those edges can be seen only from a space of vulnerability and authenticity? And what if our willingness to be vulnerable is the thing that offers true connection and healing? I recently read a quote by a physical therapist, Miriam Greenspan, describing what she calls intervulnerability. According to Greenspan, this is the pivotal bridging mechanism of our community. At this point in history, it seems that we will either destroy ourselves or find a way to build a sustainable life together. It is our willingness to see and be seen, that is, jagged edges and all, that healing is possible. Healing happens in and through relationships with ourselves, with others, and with the natural world, and with the very universe that expresses as us. In doing so, we forge true community and connections, not in 10 easy steps, but through a lifetime of being willing to have our edges smoothed by one another. From the Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes quote, "We are therefore members of the universe, and being members of that which unites everything, we are some part of each other." So now, I invite you to join me in treatment. Relax and close your eyes if you like, and just accept for yourself any part that resonates with you. Know that as I speak in the first person as you. So relax and just join me, taking first taking a deep breath and holding it and then letting it go as you relax. And know God, Spirit, is all and has no opposite and no opposition. It is what I am. I now accept that what is true of Spirit is true of me. Spirit can only know completeness, power, sufficiency. What it chooses, it becomes. It created me out of itself to experience all the good that it is. As Spirit, I personalize, and I choose to accept myself as complete, powerful, and all sufficient. All I do expresses what I am. My work, finances, relationships, and body, all are now formed by the substance of the pure spirit I am. I am imbued with life, vitality, intelligence, power, freedom, unlimited abundance, great peace, effectiveness, and joy. The truth of who I am dissolves forever any mental patterns which do not reflect this reality, as well as any effect of such pattern. I am spiritually mature, and I now live from and with consciousness of oneness with God, oneness with all its qualities, and oneness with the perfection of my expression. With great thanks, I expect and accept success, health, wealth, fulfill loving relations, and ever increasing awareness of the omnipresence of God. My good is of God, and it expands forever. I now release this word into the law that responds by corresponding, and I declare it is so now, as together we say, and so it is.
All right. It's my pleasure to introduce Miss Nerissa Street this morning. She's a multiple award-winning storyteller and facilitator who writes, directs, and produces stories for thought leadership and community change. Nerissa has advanced training from the Center for Mind-Body Medicine and Trauma Reduction She's been featured on TEDx, PBS, and multiple media channels. Nerissa wants to bring back the joy to servant leadership, so she's tackling burnout one heart-centered organization at a time. And she hopes her message today becomes practical medicine. Welcome, Nerissa. You're muted. All right.
Because everything broadcast. You have to at least say that one time during a live broadcast. So, hi, my name is Nerissa Street. I'm so grateful. Thank you again to the leadership of CSL Midtown for this invitation to return to your platform. I'm hopeful that today's message ignites a new commitment to be in community with each other. So, one of the most satisfying realizations in our spiritual practice is when we see mind science at work. There's a redemptive feeling when the spiritual work you've done shows up in alignment, in prosperity and joy, not just for you, but for your loved ones. But what if that isn't happening? What if you've done everything right and it all goes wrong? What if you've been everything good, but you're left with the bad? You doubt what you believe is true. And how many of us are struggling to figure out what is true anymore? When the world around us is in upheaval, all we want is to know some knowledge. We want clear guidance. We want to know what God wants. Where is our place? If we're not in the right mind, how will we survive what we see is coming? Doubt is this mental state, and it's also an emotional state of unknowing, and it's unsettling. And there is a reason that you are in this spiritual community at precisely this moment. Divine doubt is the next step in your spiritual evolution. It is the missing piece that builds our spiritual community and the doorway to our right place on the planet. So today we're going to look at one of the most famous spiritual communities on the planet as an example of how to move forward. The 12 disciples, you know that's who I was talking about. We are specifically going to look at Jesus's relationship with Thomas. He's also known in Christian communities as Doubting Thomas. And together, we will see how completely divine doubt is. If you don't know, Thomas earned that name because he was absent when Jesus first appeared to the disciples after his resurrection. Thomas said, and I'm paraphrasing, "Nah, that ain't Jesus. I'm not going to believe until I touch Jesus's wounds." Later on, you'll see how crucial it is that Thomas had this specific doubt. The presence of Thomas, who Jesus intentionally called into his community as a disciple, shows how crucial a questioning mind is to our spiritual evolution. Denying the questions that exist or pushing them aside in an effort to exercise our faith denies the authentic need we have to know. We seek a fuller knowledge of God. We're also seeking a fuller knowledge of our world, and really a fuller knowledge of ourselves. Because knowledge is intimacy. Knowledge deepens our relationship. It gives us a sense of security. And let's be real, it satisfies something that we feel is missing. The questions that we have are a call to know. First, we want to know ourselves. And then we want to know the one who made us. Knowledge of something is access to it. But finding those elusive answers and gaining access requires more than us and more out of us. And so we need each other. And here's something that I discovered that is so compelling about Jesus and Thomas. Thomas was also known as Didymus, twin. And scholars believe that it's because Thomas and Jesus looked alike. Power and doubt are two sides of the same coin. Healing and doubt are two sides of the same coin. And in the science of mind tradition, the Christ is not a person, but a principle of God's ideal for humanity that is present in everyone. Jesus of Nazareth is believed to have revealed the Christ nature to the highest degree ever known. So it's important that we go back and study exactly what we do know about him. And here's the thing about Jesus. His twin, Thomas, was known to be his most vocal doubter. We have to intentionally question ourselves and our beliefs in order to grow spiritually. And the easiest way to do that is to be in community. We must admit when we are double-minded, and doubt is a gift of self-awareness. It's a vulnerability and discovery. And ultimately, if we look at that story, intimacy with yourself. And you, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, are a conduit of God. So as I come and complete this lesson, I hope you'll see that Jesus could not have come to the most powerful experiences of his ministry without Thomas, without his doubts. And I'll share what you can do when your doubt threatens your resilience and strength. It robs you of the community that you need to thrive. Doubt, illustrated through Jesus and Thomas's relationship, gives us three distinct opportunities to deepen our relationship with God and align more fully with our purpose on this planet. Thomas gives language to questions others may be carrying silently. His relationship with Jesus shows that doubt can deepen our faith, can clarify our purpose, and bless our community. So, point number one. When we first meet our divine doubt, we think there's going to be a great loss to ourselves and to potentially the things that we love. I'm using the first time that we recognize Thomas when he speaks. He thinks that following Jesus to Judea means that they will die. And so here's the story in John 11, verses 7 through 15. Here it goes. Then after this, he said to the disciples, "Let us go to Judea again." The disciples said to him, "Rabbi, the Jews were just now trying to stone you. Why are you going back there again?" Jesus answered, "Are there not 12 hours of daylight? Those who walk during the day do not stumble because they see the light of the world, but those who walk at night stumble because the light is not in them." After saying this, he told them, "Listen, our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I'm going there to awaken him." The disciples, of course, not wanting to be stoned and see Jesus stoned, said to him, "Lord, if he's fallen asleep, we'll be all right." Jesus, however, had been speaking about death, but they thought he was referring merely to sleep. When Jesus told them plainly, "Lazarus is dead. For your sake, I'm glad I was not there, that you may believe, but let us go to him." Thomas, who was called the twin, said to his fellow disciples, "Let us also go, so that we may die with him." Jesus goes and raises Lazarus. And Thomas has an opportunity to see that following Jesus does not bring death, but life. Sometimes we believe that God asked for too much, but hey, spiritual evolution has a cost, right? This misunderstanding illustrates two things. That number one, yeah, we're here. We have a willingness to follow God. But we also have this doubt that we're going to lose something when we follow him. But what we have the opportunity to do is get a deeper understanding that you're not going to lose the thing that you will. So I ask you, as a spiritual community, those of you who are hearing me, where are you hiding your doubt because of what you think you might lose? Please take that question. Point number 2, our second encounter with the divine doubt. Thomas has a doubt about where they're going. So later on in John 14, Jesus understands that he's about to be crucified, and he says to the disciples, "Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God and believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many dwelling places. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go to prepare a place for you, I'll come again and take you to myself, so that where I am, you'll be as well. You know the way to the place I'm going." So Thomas says to him, "Lord, we do not know where you are going. So how can we know the way?" And Jesus says one of the most famous sayings, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you know me, you know my Father." Important in this story is Philip, another disciple, who says to Jesus, "Lord, show us the Father and we'll be satisfied." And Jesus responds to him, "Have I not been with you this entire time, Philip, and you still don't know me? Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, 'Show us the Father'?" He continues and realizes that there has been a misunderstanding of his ministry right there within the people who have been closest to him. And he is able to bring them into a deeper understanding. Thomas's genuine request for clarity demonstrates that being honest about our struggle helps others deepen their relationship and clarify who we are with God. So, friends, I ask you to take this next question. What doubts do you have that you could heal our community if you express them and bring us all into a more authentic relationship with each other? In the final documented encounter with Thomas, the most well-known, Thomas is absent after Jesus' resurrection. And so in John 20, we find that Thomas says, the other disciples, as he's come back in, Thomas encounters them and they say to him, "We've seen the Lord." But Thomas says to them, "Unless I see the mark of the nails in his hand and put my finger in the mark and the nails and my hand in his side, I will not believe." A week later, the disciples again were in the house, and this time Thomas was with them. Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." And he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here and see my hands. Reach out your hand. Do not doubt, but believe." And Thomas said back to him, "My Lord and my God." Thomas needs pretty graphic proof to believe. In the most incredible turn of events, your mirror image conquers death. After everything that happened, You can't believe that someone who looks like you could do more than you have done. They have proven in your heart what you didn't believe was possible. And on the other side of things, think of Jesus looking at his mirror image, saying, I do not believe. We are two sides of the same coin, and we need both in order to have a deeper connection to our most authentic and most powerful self. So your final question that I'm going to ask you is, what doubt do you have about your own possibilities? And what is right in front of you right now that proves you wrong? In the case of Thomas, his doubt is revealed, and the community amplifies it. I want you in your quiet spiritual time to move from a revelation of God to the experience of God in community. Each one of Thomas's questions was pointed at Jesus, but the authentic questioning revealed more about his perceptions of himself. Embracing your questions, your fear, your anger, your grief, your inner experience. You can do that in community. Vulnerability, all doubt, authentically expressed in a safe place is the next step forward for all of us. So here's what I hope you will leave with. Doubt is a wall, a door, and a mirror. Thomas is not only the doubter. Thomas brings a gift to his wider spiritual community. He gives language to questions others may be carrying silently. His relationship with Jesus shows that doubt can deepen faith, clarify purpose, and bless the community. These three gifts, doubt as a wall, is when we fear what faith will cost us. Doubt can also be a door because honest questions can open the way for others, and doubt can be a mirror. When God reveals our inner limits, and we find out that those are not the limit of possibility. Let me tell you, when doubt is a wall, it feels like an ending. It feels like loss. It feels like obedience will have a cost. And so Thomas says, let us go and that we can die with him. But we need to question at that wall, we need to question what we believe we are losing. And instead, at the wall, stand in surrender. Next, at that door, doubt is a doorway. A question asked authentically can be a pathway for the entire room. When Thomas asked for direction, Lord, we do not know where you're going. How can we know the way? Can you imagine that that is the way that we received? I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. Thomas asked the question. Your doubt pulls up the question, but everyone receives the answer. His doubt helps clarify the things that we don't even know we're questioning. We don't even know what is standing in our way, but in community, when someone asks, everyone benefits. The doubt is the door. And next, doubt is a mirror. Sometimes when you have the doubt, it reveals to you what you don't even know is possible for yourself. Your deepest doubt is not about God. Your deepest doubt is about you. And it's about what you believe that can happen to someone who looks exactly like you, who is wounded, who is familiar, someone you can touch. Your doubt is about who you are. And what? When Thomas demands proof, Jesus offers presence. When Thomas says, I need to see the wounds, Thomas is bound up in what happened in the past, but what? Jesus is moving ahead. And Jesus does not leave him behind. He appears and gives him what he needs. Thomas spoke authentically and got the answers that he needed. Doubt is a mirror, it confronts possibility. The resurrection does not only prove who Jesus is, it also destroys our belief in the impossible. And so I hope that you bring your own doubts to this incredible community. I hope that you stand in what you don't believe is possible and you speak it with authenticity and you ask your questions and you come to a safe space because there is one that is waiting for you. It has been my honor to share this message with you. I will tell you, it kicked my spiritual behind over the last couple of months, and I hope it brought you a sense of peace and possibility.
Thank you, Nerissa. Wow. That's all I can say. We will have a good discussion with you over on Zoom in just a few minutes, but thank you for that talk this morning. We're so glad you were here to share with us. So thanks so much, and we'll see you over on Zoom. All right. Now it's time for our new minister, Sacred Covenant Easy Prayer. This is an abbreviated version. The full one is over on our website, which you can download at cslmidtown.org. There's only one life. This life is God, and I am one with it. I know my new minister as a revelation of Spiritist principle, fulfilling God's promise. A principle is not bound by precedent, but operates according to the law for those who align with it. Together with my community, I see my new minister inspiring spiritual oneness through wisdom, love, and authenticity. One that is awakened to inner wisdom, communicates universal truth, and serves as a conduit of divine love, wisdom, and healing energy. One that recognizes the inherent wholeness within all beings and offers teachings grounded in spiritual principles to cultivate inner transformation. One that extends love, compassion, and Spirit's transformative power into the wider community, fostering connections that heal and uplift individuals on their unique journeys. As I accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know they will be revealed in a way that expresses Spirit and serves as the highest good of all touched by their presence. I am grateful, for God is good, and so it is. And now it's time for a conscious giving. You can donate at cslmidtown.org/donate. You can scan the QR code. And as we went through the budget last month and looked at our existing financials, it looked like we were about $100 a week short of being on par with where we are for our income to meet our expenses. We have savings, but it would be nice if you are getting something out of this, if you are spiritually fed through the message of bringing to you every single week. We would appreciate your donations for that. Just a little bit, every little month, every little bit helps. So thanks for that. Let's say our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow. And all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Right. We got a couple of announcements. I'd like to thank Norma Roberts for being our practitioner today, Nerissa Street for being our speaker. And next week, we have our beloved Reverend Dr. Cynthia Paulson back. She's talking on Trust the Process. And if you want a deeper understanding of what Science of Mind is, the Adult Study Group meets at 10 a.m. on Sundays on Zoom. You can go to our website, cslmidtown.org, scroll down to the Zoom link, click on that, use the passcode to get in, and discuss that. They're going through the Science of Mind textbook right now. They're nearing the end of that. You don't have to have read that week's session to participate. They will welcome you enthusiastically. So, with that, I would like to do our affirmation of life. I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love, and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. So it is. Have a great week, everybody. And if you're online and you're not over on Zoom, you can join us on Zoom to have a discussion with Nerissa Street. Thanks so much.